السلام عليكم ورحمة الله
وعليكم
وبركاته.
السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته. تفضلوا.
Let me share the screen, please, brother. Is this visible, my screen?
Evet, şu anda görüntü var.
Yes, we can see it.
Okay, so you are able to see the screen. My presentation is visible here on screen.
Yes, we can see your presentation, sir.
Brother Ali, my presentation is visible on the screen.
Yes, Dr. Aijaz.
Okay, thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
let me start. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, I would like to thank you all for this good opportunity to present this paper. So I will try to conclude in 15 minutes, inshallah. So the topic today is the Islamic economic governance and justice, joint justice system, challenges and opportunity for the Islamic Union. So in this presentation, I will cover the outline will be the first part will be the principles of Islamic economic governance, which includes the social responsibility, Sharia compliance finance, and ethical business practices. Because for such a topic, it is very important to let us know first the basic ethics of the financial and economic and governance structure in Islamic Union. So later on, the second session will be overview of the joint justice system. Third will be overview of the Islamic governance and legal framework. Then challenges and opportunities, and this will be the final. And after that, we will come towards the economical stability and resilience, how the Islamic economic system and joint justice system will take us to that point. First of all, let me give the brief about this Islamic joint judicial system or governance system, what it is and what it looks like, little bit for 4 points. The Islamic Union, which represents a collective efforts of Muslim nations, which will promote the unity, cooperation, and share values together. As its member, they will be together to facilitate each other for the justice, fairness, and economic transactions, which will be on that principle. All the economic transactions will be on the justice, fairness, and economic and fairness. So in this system, Islamic economic governance deeply roots in the principle of teachings of Islam, emphasizes justice, fairness, and ethical conducted in Islamic economic activities. This system is not merely an economic model. However, we see that it comprises all the way of life, which is social, political, and economical aspects. The economic union seeks to unite the Muslim world. So the Islamic Union, which we are talking today, in the real sense, it doesn't exist till now, but a lot of things has been done from previously. It has been tried to get in the play, but till now it is still in the development. So what this union like to do by the unity of the Muslim world, they like it to be under a single economic, political, and social system. From the first time it came into the mind of the people, it is from since the fall of Uthman Khilafat in earlier 20th century, because at that point of time, the bifurcation of Islamic Union was done into the states. So later on, this find that we have to be united in some way, if not in this way, but in any other way. So they tried the concept of union, Islamic Union. The implications of such a union presents numerous challenges also. So the implementation of such union challenges us also some where we have to bear some challenges, as well as there are huge opportunities, which we will discuss now step by step. So first of all, as I said, that we need to know about the principles first, that what is in the system, how we can go beyond this. So first we have the social responsibilities in Islamic economic governance. We must have the social responsibilities, which includes prohibition of riba, which is strictly prohibited in Islam. And it is mentioned in Quran also that this is an exploitation and injustice if we will include in interest, if we will deal in interest. As explicitly said in the Quran that that there is a prohibition of this interest. It is in Surah Al-Baqarah 227 to Surah Al-Baqarah 275 to 279 ayah number, and Al-Imran 130 ayah. So there are many verses, but these two are which I like to highlight. Similarly, if we will go to prohibition of garar and maisar, which is the uncertainty and gambling, this is also mentioned in Quran. However, about the garar, it is not directly mentioned in Quran, but in Hadith it is also existing. Whereas the maisar is also is mentioned in both Quran and Hadith. So this uncertainty and gambling, this is also prohibited because these are based on the principles of fairness, transparency, and avoidance of the exploitation, their prohibition. So in these two ways, there is also the exploitation and which we call cheating. Charity in the way of zakat. So this is one more responsibility in the society. Zakat is a compulsory which we have to give as 2.5% of our property and 10% on our production, agriculture production, of course. And waqf and infaq, which is the optional, but zakat is the main, which is compulsory for every Muslim. So this is the one we can say that zakat, it is the main tool for the distribution of wealth. So this tool which we are utilizing in our society will do an equality in the society. And fourth point is promotion and protection of private property. So if you will see that this is the concept that where which we got from the Quran directly, as we all know that wealth belongs to Allah. Everything on this world or in anywhere in the universe belongs to Allah. So it is in Quran mentioned that the principle which we talk about this promotion of private property, there is an ayah in Quran that is saying to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is on the earth. So the principle of we can say the ownership of everything is in Allah, but surely I am about to place a vicegerent on earth. So we are just as a Khalifa on this earth to utilize these things which we have here or which we are given as a protector from our Allah. So we have to utilize it in a given way, in that way that we can give it back to the society as we had been expected to work on it. And fifth one is ethical and moral values, which includes tawheed, taqwa, justice and fairness, honesty and trustfulness, compassion and kindness, respect, tolerance, humility, etc. These are the self-explanatory words. We don't need more explanation. And social justice, which we talk about equality, wealth distribution, which I talk in zakat as wealth distribution, elimination of exploitation, accountability and transparency. This is also in a society we need to uphold these ethics, human rights, social welfare, etc. So let us go to the second point, Sharia compliance finance. So the one more point in this is that Sharia compliance finance, which will be a part of Islamic governance or justice system, because this includes in justice also financial justice. So first is prohibition of riba, which we talk already about, garar we talk already about, because this is the part which comes in different segments of the society or of the um, financial as well as social as well as other parts of the life. So prohibition of haram activities, these are the activities which are prohibited in Islam, such as we talk, interest or investments in haram products, alcohol, gambling, or pork, etc., whichever is prohibited in Quran or Hadith. So we are prohibited for these activities in Sharia compliance finance. So if we will finance or invest, we are not allowed to invest these things. Promotion of social and promotion of ethical and social responsibility in investment. So these investments which we have to promote are the those investments which we need to transfer towards the responsible social and ethical responsibilities, such as we talk about, we have to give sadaqah, we have to give charity, we have to invest in that things which will be useful for the society, such as education, healthcare, transportation, these things which we have utilization in our society for the good. So we can give these things in the we can invest in these things which are good for society. Third is risk sharing. If we will see, the Islamic finance is based on risk and profit sharing. The risk sharing is basically attached to the ownership. So till we don't have ownership, we cannot share a risk. Similarly, we have the contracts in this real sector, such as mudaraba, musharaka, murabaha, and these are being developed through Islamic finance or Islamic economics. So financial real sector, financing real sector, we cannot finance to non-real sectors, such as, which we say as financing which is not a real, in real sense, any product or any, which is, for example, gambling is also not a real sector. Or we can say that financing in such certificates which are just in air, financialization, which we say of debt. So these financing or these investments we cannot finance in that. So the third and is business ethics, which we are responsible for these in our business dealings. Principle of justice, we must be justful in the principle, as it is stated in Quran. O you who believe, stand out firmly for justice as witness to Allah, even as against yourself, or your parents, or your kins, and whatever it has against, rich or poor. For Allah can best protect both. So wherever there is justice, we have to stand for it. So in business ethics, we are in the same thing. Principle of honesty and truthfulness. So in business dealings, it is 100% sure we need to be honest and truthfulness. We cannot deceive them. As we know, it is a common term. Mutual consents. We have to be any dealing with mutual consents. We cannot have one side decision in these. Avoidance of riba is same as mentioned above. Risk sharing, as mentioned above, we have to share risk in every business dealing, and mostly the risk is shared by ownership. Till you will not have ownership, you cannot share the risk. So wherever you will see the contracts, many contracts, till you will not own an asset, you cannot have any business dealing on it. And second is prohibition of garar, uncertainty, which is also the same as mentioned above. So these were the three principles for the society which we have to incur in the society to be a viable society for this joint system. So now if we will go to overview of the joint justice system, there are legal frameworks. As in this legal framework, a well-crafted legal framework governs the justice system, guided justice jurisdiction, and ensures principled administration through consistent constitutional provinces, states, regulates, and international agreements. So these are the legal frameworks which it must include. Judicial institutions as the core of the joint justice system. Specialized institutions have to be created, which includes the courts, tribunals, meticulous just system, which will meticulously judge the disputes and uphold the legal processes for this whole joint system. Jurisdiction is the third one. The joint justice system precise jurisdiction description covers civil, criminal, administrative, and specialized legal dominance, deeply addressed diverse complexity, because there will be complex things because of the many countries together, many nations together, different political views. So this will be complex. We have to streamline it. Applicable laws. So in the joint system, we have to see any commonly applicable laws which will be applicable to all these nations, and this will be accepted by their economical or this judicial systems. So we have to carve like such a legal system in this dispute resolution system. So we have to create a dispute resolution system also in this, which will be the mechanism including litigations, arbitration, mediation, and alternative methods for this, which focus on accessibility, fairness, and efficiency. These resolutions prompting expedition outcome that are inherited just. So we need to take care of this also if we are going to think about a joint justice system. Then there is a judicial independence. So in a joint judicial system, a foundational principle is that unwavering commitment to the judicial independence. Judges are mandated to enable impartiality, ensure freedom for external affairs. There must not be any political pressure or any other side of pressure. So it must be an independent judiciary system, which is a core value for any judiciary. So enforcing of decisions. So now there comes also the joint justice system is committed to enforce its decisions through robust mechanism involving the execution of the court orders, meticulous collection of fines, and effective realization of remedies. So these all together, they have to see how to enforce it in a different nation, which will be united in one judiciary system. Second is cooperation and coordination. There is a very high need of these things, that the cooperation and coordination must be between the nations. The involvement, tangible actions like information exchange, mutual recognition or judgment, and cooperative efforts to training and research. So they have to give cooperation in this also. Some nations have highly equipped with some one kind of research and information. When it will be shared, it will benefit the ummah, inshallah. And then comes the overview of Islamic governance and legal system. So if you will see, the first will be Sharia governance. So Sharia governance is ensures Islamic finance institutions adherent to principle through board of quality scholars who are working rigorously on the scrutinization of products, upholding their standards, ethics, to let it be in line with the Sharia, even though sometimes some products have some contracts have little lacunas. But after all, nobody is perfect. After a lot of research, they come to know, they make that amendments. Till now, alhamdulillah, the Islamic financial system has reached to a good level. And second is the regulatory framework. If we will see the regulatory framework, this is also effective Islamic economic governance relies on the tailored regular framework addressing unique features like interest, prohibition, and profit sharing. Regulatory authorities formulate and enforce regulatory cover license, capital advocacy, risk management, disclosure, consumer protection. So these are the elements which the legal framework will handle in the joint governance and legal framework. And fourth is this was the legal. Fourth is contractual framework. So in contractual framework, they have to meticulously made contracts which will be acceptable in all nations. They have to work on it. The contracts must be aligned with legal and Sharia elements of all the nations which will be acceptable. So if we will come in the common goal, all nations, Islamic nations will not have any problem with the Sharia structured contracts such as Mudaraba, Musharaka, Ijara. All nations nowadays are accepting this in Islamic finance as well. So one more is dispute resolution mechanism. We have to have this dispute, as I talked before, in governance also. So legal framework also must have this dispute resolution. Consumer protection must be there. So the consumers must be protected. There must be a separate way to protect them. For example, regulatory framework which prioritize transparency, fair treatments, and robust dispute resolution mechanism. So this kind of consumer protection will enhance the treatment and readiness, will enhance the confidence in the Islamic finance, Islamic governance in the joint system. Then supervision and monitoring, of course, after everything is done, we need to have a supervision and monitoring for all transactions. With requested resources and powers, these authority vigilantly access compliance with Sharia principles and regulations, ensuring sound and probatic in Islamic finance institutions for industrial resilience and credibility. So after everything is done, after these structures are made, finance is given, we need still to have supervision and monitoring that there is not any loophole or people are using it a way in which it must be. Then integration, international cooperation and harmonization. So as this will be a union, will be of international cooperation, lot of nations together. So global integration of Islamic economic governance relies on international cooperation among regulatory authorities and standard setting bodies. So collaborative efforts promotes consistency standards and mutual recognition of Islamic finance practices, fostering credibility and facilitating cross-border transactions for global acceptance of Islamic financial principles. So this, when we have this kind of cooperation and harmonization, that we can have cross-border transactions which are acceptable, there is no dispute in this as per Islamic, as per Sharia alliance. As we will see that, if we will see that Islamic finance is not only for Muslims, it is an ethical financing, if we will see in another way. So the ethical financing is not any problem for anyone. So it is for non-Muslims also. Now we will come to on challenges in the implementation of fair joint justice system and economic governance. So if we will see the first, the lack of universal acceptance interpretation of Islamic economic principles. So what are the challenges now here? That as we all know that there are different diverse interpretation of Islamic economic principles among scholars and jurisdictions may result in inconsistency. If you will see our madhab, Hanafi, Shafi, Hanbali, they have some differences in interpretation of Islam, economic or financial issues. So we have to streamline that. This will be one of the challenge, to streamline and have this universally accepted to all Muslims in every madhab. Second is the lack of adequate institutional and regulatory framework. If we will see at this time, we don't have so much regulatory framework well versed, except the IFSB, which is Islamic Financial Service Board. They are giving the guidelines for implementation standards and strengthen the financial ability of the Islamic finance. So we need to improve it more and give it more strength, or have additional institutions which will give as a back to this institution. The lack of trainer professionals in the field of Islamic economics. So there is still the lack of these professionals, even though there are universities who are teaching now Islamic economics, Islamic finance, like in Qatar, in the big example in Turkey, we started in Turkey also, Qatar, Malaysia, UK. So now it started and it is going now day by day, alhamdulillah, it is expanding. So there are some institutions which are giving this, and we need some corporate level also to give trainings and have more staff, more professional in this field, so that it will be done in ethical way. The lack of awareness and education seem that the corporate trainings as well as the trainings for our clients or customers, whoever are, or any stakeholder. So we need to distribute training, or we need to give training or awareness programs to give awareness about the Islamic system, Islamic economic system, and the inherent diversity in socio-economic and political. As we will see in the unions, we have different nations have diversity in economical, these theories are economical setup and political setup. So we need this diversity to have a one single acceptable some sort of thing. So this will be one more hurdle in this. The resistance from the conventional economic institution. This is the last point for this challenge, is that conventional economic institutions will resist for this as much they can, because it is a big part of their business, which is going towards the Islamic economics and Islamic finance, and the big part of the world which will come under Islamic finance. They will try to resist it so that to save their market share. Now, this will be also in global challenges. What will be challenge in global integration? This we were talking about the Islamic nations. If we will integrate in it globally, there are three main challenges which will be, that is prohibition of interest, because many countries they don't bother about this, which are non-Muslim countries. So there will be this challenge because they only like to have to grow their wealth. They don't bother about it is interest or it is not interest, whatever it will be. So this will be challenged from non-Muslim countries. And the principle of risk sharing, that most of the conventional finance nowadays are not ready to share the risk. Instead, they want to earn anyway, but they transfer the risk instead of sharing the risk. So they believe in transferring risk and be safe rather than sharing the risk. So this will be one more challenge in global integration. The principle of social justice. Nowadays, the social justice remain as just a talk. If we will say, the global economic system is often criticized for promoting inequality and exploitation. Therefore, implementing Islamic economic governance is a way that upholds social justice can be challenged in the context of global integrity, because they talk about social justice, but they don't work on this in a financial way or in economical way. Now, the last part is the opportunities for the Islamic Union in implementing a joint justice system and economic governance. If we will see the opportunities, we will harmonize of the standards, all standards which are having diversities. We can have a smooth and harmonized standards for all the countries of the Islamic Union, so that there will be a very smooth running of business or transactions, whatever will be. Enhance marketing integration. So the Islamic countries have a big part in the world. So if we will integrate our market, it will enhance the economy of these countries. They will be not dependent on others so much, because there will be a free trade system, free transaction system, whatever will be in regarding this economic system, because it will be controlled as a whole one unit. And third is collaboration and cooperation in research and development. So these all countries will collaborate and collaborate in research and development, where there is one by one individually putting their efforts. When it will be a collective effort, it will be very successful and have great achievements. We hope so, inshallah. Human capital development. So by these trainings and by sharing the information, we can have our human capital development. Also, some countries which don't have the high standards of education, we can share the education system together. It will be as a whole one union, which will
Aijaz
be
Bey,
aspire to have some level of education.
şöyle 2 dakikada toparlayabilirsiniz.
Sir, excuse me, you're requested to wrap in 2 minutes.
On dakika, it will finish, inshallah. Sorry, 2 dakika, not one. Joint investment project. So if we will have the investment project jointly, we don't need to be dependent on international financial institutions such as World Bank or IMF to have a funding and then control our all systems, have some restrictions in our economy. So when we will be together, we don't have to bother. So the joint investment projects will be a big leap in this union. Advocacy and representation. So we will have a big value of representation as a whole. We will represent one. So this will give us strength for as a in the world as a part of representation, strengthening the
Evet.
union and solidarity.
Aijaz hocam şöyle son bir iki cümle.
So just last sentence, please.
This is last one. Promoting economic development and social justice. It is self-explanatory. And then if we will see economic stability and resilience, we will see risk sharing and profit sharing. It will be resilient in the economy, stable in finance transactions, prudent risk management, emphasize on real economic activities, ethical and responsible investment, safe, steady nets. Which these points are giving the resilience to the economy, as we discussed above also this, and leverage to the vast resource, natural resource as a whole. This big part of world, we will have natural resources which we can share together, geographical dividend, and the strong tradition and trade and commerce. We will have a big trade routes, commerce, and we will have a big open market for each other. Emphasize on real economic activities, significant potential for socio-economical development. So by integrating these all things, we can have a viable Islamic union, which will have the economy and justice together as a union. Thank you, and thanks for patience.